Imagine building one of the most powerful technology companies in history, and then watching the world begin to wonder if your company had lost its way. Microsoft went from a tiny software company to a technology giant, but along the journey, it faced fierce competition, major criticism, changing technology, and moments when its future looked uncertain. So how did Microsoft survive and become one of the world's most valuable companies? This is the story of Microsoft's incredible transformation. Part 1. The beginning. Microsoft's story began in 1975 when two young programmers, Bill Gates and Paul Allen, started a small software company. Their big opportunity came when they developed software for an early personal computer called the Altair 8800. At the time, personal computers were still a new idea, but Gates and Allen believed software would become incredibly important. They were right. Microsoft began supplying software to computer manufacturers, and the company quickly grew. Part of the deal that changed everything. Microsoft's biggest breakthrough came when IBM entered the personal computer market. IBM needed an operating system for its new PC. Microsoft didn't actually own the operating system it offered. Instead, it acquired an existing system, adapted it, and licensed it to IBM. That decision became enormously important. Microsoft kept the rights to license the operating system to other computer manufacturers. As more companies built PCs, Microsoft's software could appear on millions of machines. The company had found a powerful business model. Part 3. Windows takes over. Microsoft continued improving its operating system. Then came Windows. Its graphical interface made computers easier for ordinary people to use. Over time, Windows became one of the dominant operating systems for personal computers around the world. Microsoft was no longer just selling software. It was becoming a central part of the entire PC industry, and the company's influence exploded. Part 4. When success became a problem. But enormous success brought enormous attention. Microsoft faced increasing criticism over its business practices and competition. The company eventually became involved in a major antitrust case in the United States. The legal battle created uncertainty around Microsoft's future. At the same time, technology was changing. The internet was becoming increasingly important, and Microsoft had to figure out how to compete in a world that was moving beyond the traditional PC. Part 5. The Internet Challenge. Microsoft initially underestimated how important the internet would become. Companies built around the web were growing rapidly. Search engines, online services, mobile technology, and new software platforms were changing the technology industry. Microsoft had enormous resources, but being the biggest company didn't automatically mean it would win the next era. The company needed to adapt. Part 6. A new direction. Over time, Microsoft began changing its strategy. Instead of depending so heavily on Windows, it started building a much broader technology ecosystem. Office became increasingly important. The company invested heavily in enterprise software. Then came cloud computing. Microsoft Azure became a major part of the company's future. Businesses could now rent computing power, storage, databases, and other services through the cloud. This changed Microsoft's business dramatically. Part 7. The Cloud Revolution. The cloud transformed Microsoft from primarily a PC software company into a much broader technology company. Instead of customers simply buying software once, businesses could use Microsoft services continuously. That created recurring revenue and made Microsoft's relationship with customers much deeper. Microsoft was no longer betting everything on the personal computer. It was building infrastructure for the digital world. Part 8. The new Microsoft. Microsoft also expanded into gaming through Xbox, professional networking through LinkedIn, and many other areas of technology. Its business became much more diversified, and the company increasingly embraced artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies. The strategy was no longer simply own the PC. It became build the technology businesses depend on. Part 9. The Business Lesson. Microsoft's story teaches an important lesson. Being successful today doesn't guarantee success tomorrow. Technology changes, customers change, competitors change, and companies that refuse to adapt can eventually become irrelevant. Microsoft survived because it repeatedly changed its strategy while keeping its core strength in software and technology. Ending. Microsoft started as a small software company in 1975. It helped put a computer on millions of desks. It faced intense competition and legal challenges. It struggled to keep pace with major technological shifts, but instead of remaining trapped in the past, Microsoft transformed itself. From operating systems, to productivity software, to gaming, to cloud computing, and now artificial intelligence. Microsoft's greatest achievement may not have been creating Windows. It may have been learning how to reinvent itself. And that's the money behind Microsoft. This is Money Behind the Story. Subscribe for more stories about how the world's biggest companies rose, struggled, and transformed themselves.